Let's have a live dialogue. What is it that a person is supposed to arrive at? Happiness? That's impossible. Happiness and unhappiness. They're a dual pair. They're always fluctuating. It's all just medicine for life. Peace here is only a dream. It's hopeless. You can't gain some kind of lasting calmness, some eternal position.
Student. What will happen? It's only temporary. It's like these practices no longer work.
Exactly. So, I ask, why do the practices at all? Just as a pill for life. Like, you sit, do something, and get temporary relief. Then you're back to stress and activity. What's the point then?
Student. Try other practices?
But that's not freedom. That's dependence on practices. Why? It's just another pill for life. I'm telling you, life is something temporary. You can't stake a claim on any state. A state of permanent happiness is just a mental position. Happiness, unhappiness. Who is doing the practice? The person, the personality. What is the personality? What does the personality do? It's just an idea. A total act of appropriation. In the end, practices are just working with attention, some sort of collaboration on the level of the mind. But where can that really lead? Practice. It's the formation of new habits. For what? New dependencies? New conditionings? What use are they?
Student. Maybe these habits can somehow help to see something.
Habits are mechanical. The habits that have been formed, those are vasanas. It's full autopilot. There's no awareness there. It's automatic. A habit is automation.
Student. But there are good habits, aren't there?
Well, are you collecting good habits, or do you want freedom?
Student. But yesterday you yourself said, do it for 10 minutes a day.
Exactly. And I'm asking, what is all this being done for? What kinds of habits are you trying to collect?
Student. To stop the mind.
All right. But that too is impossible. The most effective way to stop the mind is a bullet to the forehead. That stops it. The final practice. I just want you to understand why these practices are being done, and from what position are they being done. If the person, the doer, is doing the practices, how can he arrive at his own non-existence as a doer? How is this metamorphosis supposed to happen? A person does practices for years, but what can he really come to? I once met someone who said, well, it's all clear. Practices are only needed so that you can become disillusioned with their total powerlessness and realize their uselessness. And I said, okay, but did you learn that in advance? Or are you not one of those practitioners who just got exhausted by it all and came to total helplessness? And from that, acceptance emerged. Because it seems like you still believe that the practices won't lead anywhere, so you've preemptively accepted their futility. But still, there's a doer in you who controls how to raise children, and all of that is still alive. Yet in practice, you already don't want to act anymore. So then, who is the one doing the practices at all? If it's from the position of a person, it won't lead anywhere. At best, you'll get some temporary relief. And that's it. Then you return to stress. Then you come back, sit again. And so on. Endlessly. Peace. Unrest. Peace. Unrest. And I'm not even talking about collecting good habits. The human being is just a puppet filled with conditioning, habits, a web of samskaras. That's it. Full autopilot, pure mechanics, unconscious reflexes. So tell me, where's the awareness in that? One habit layered on top of another. Just understand this. If it's all done from the standpoint of a person as doer, then I immediately want to ask, what is a person exactly? How do you define that? Give me the detailed picture. What do you mean by person?
Student. Body-mind.
Yes. And the core assumption there is what? That it's separate, and that it's the author, the doer in the world. Human beings, they're great doers. That's the belief right now. So, okay, there's a body-mind organism. But who lives in it? I'm talking about the image of yourself. And look, if it's the body-mind, then we're talking about something manifested, something phenomenal, an appearance. That which is manifest is manifest. Fine. But who is aware of this phenomenon? Or what is aware? Who is aware of this bundle of sensations? Who is aware of thought?
Student. It's something unknowable. A mystery.
Right. The true self. Again, that's just another concept, too. There's no actual true self. It's just a pointer. This very nothingness. Don't create in your mind some imagined true self or absolute. That's just more modeling in the mind. So, who is aware of this temporary phenomenon that has a beginning and an end? You see, from the position of the person, you cannot arrive anywhere through practice. Understand this. What I mean is this. The very first belief, many people have realized, for example, that we're born as absolute zeros. So what makes you American, French, German? What exactly does that? It's a collection of knowledge, a set of social conditionings, a bundle of ideas. Ideas of belonging. But the most fundamental thing, the very first shell, is this. I am a human being. That is the oldest belief. I am a person. And that sounds noble. But what does it actually mean? The person says, I am looking. But how is this looking happening? Is there a doer in it? Is there someone claiming it? This must be clearly seen. It's just, I am sitting. Who is doing that? There is sitting. The body found a comfortable position. There is sitting. Where is the I that sits? This concerns the body, that's all. And so, from the doer's perspective, all practice becomes something to be claimed. I practice, I meditate, I practice, I meditate. But what are you actually gaining? That's how life passes. The body has an expiration date.
Student. And the rest is up to God, the grace of God.
But what kind of God are we talking about? One who exists separately? One who is personally invested in you? What kind of grace? See, that too becomes abstract. Some grace that's kindly bestowed, and poof, you're gone. And what happens then? Now listen, everyone's talking about disidentification. These days, it's a buzzword, disidentification. But what is disidentifying with what? Understand this. Disidentification means to see what is truly here. What is truly here? Drop these ideas of yourself. The body-mind is just a perceivable phenomenon, one among countless other phenomenal appearances. The person believes they are the doer, but this too is just a belief. It's like a shadow of the great nothing imagining that it's moving on its own, shining, changing positions, as if it independently exists and acts. It's a belief, just like that. What exactly is unclear about all this? It's really not that complicated to explain. What sustains the idea of a doer? People say, the brain is deceiving us. But who exactly is this us being deceived? Who is in that second position, the one who is supposedly deceived? The truth is, Brahman is intelligence itself. It reproduces this world through infinite divisions. And it is Brahman that believes. And it is Brahman that gets involved. Look, everything has been named. This is just a collection of contexts, a sum of knowledge, and that's what we call consciousness. That is the world. People say, consciousness. But look, what is it? It's a sum total of knowledge. Everything is named. Everything is wrapped in concepts. Everything is divided. Then we project connections, relationships, and the world seems logical. So when does this all start to burn? When you're no longer involved. Precisely when you begin to look from the position of awareness. Put simply, if you're looking from the perspective of the body-mind, then all seeking is pointless. Let me be clear. A person cannot become enlightened. What could that even refer to? The personality is an idea, the idea of I. A thought cannot awaken, and the body doesn't need enlightenment. Come on, you know that. The body needs food, sleep, care, not awakening. So what is the essence of disidentification? It's simply this: to be aware of all phenomena. The body is just one more perceivable phenomenon. There's no one living in it. No Sergei inside. And that, too, is a capacity of the same intelligence. To observe its own movements from the side. That's the witnessing aspect. And there's no doing in that. There is just awareness.
Student, when you say observe its actions, do you mean the actions of the body?
What else is there?
Student, mental ones?
Well, those are more like planning. Or mental movement, yes. But is that really doing? Or is it just projection? Do you take everything that happens in the mind seriously? Does it have any actual confirmation in reality? Or is it just planning? Then make something appear. Something that's real, not just subjective. Make something happen that's not just real for you, but objective for everyone. Only then is it action. Real action. Not just fantasy. When you look from awareness, without getting involved, then there's really nothing more to be done. All practices are just to show, from the side, how the mind works. It's like stepping back slightly, moving attention outside the mind's boundaries. Though even that's very metaphorical. There's no one who actually steps out, but there is a very immediate awareness without involvement. Mind. Mind. Everything is the mind. Everything. The very first identification, let me say it again, is the body-mind organism. I am the body-mind organism. I am doing practice. Where can that lead? Absolutely nowhere. It's endless. A road to nowhere. There's nothing for the person to come to. The character does something in hopes of falling into some true reality. That is an illusion, too. There is no one to fall into anything. This whole phenomenon, the body-mind organism, is part of the world. It's embedded in the world. It cannot step out of this picture, this film. Bruce Willis can't walk out of the movie and appear in your room. You see? So just leave the film alone. Awareness is simply seeing what's being seen. The body-mind organism just responds, reacts. And if you look more deeply, you realize even the body is knowledge. Do you actually feel all the parts of your body right now? Your legs, your back, your chest, each finger? What are we even talking about? There's only an ever-shifting focus of attention, and no one is directing it. Just notice, since this morning, how many times has your attention shifted? Millions. How many shifts in just 1 minute? And that's it. A storm of thoughts in the head. That's the whole person. Plus some rigid conditioning. Beliefs, concepts. And someone might say to me, well, the body is here. Yes, but is it something static? Or does it only appear as a set of sensations? Constantly changing, changing, changing. So, what is it? It's a phenomenon, ever-changing. And why is all this called unreal in the end? The mystics said, whatever appears and disappears is not real. So, seek the unchanging. You must deal with eternity, because that alone is a temporary speck, has only temporary goals, rushed, fleeting. The temporary is only interested in the temporary. So a person's goals are also temporary, things that can always be lost. And there's no way to hold on to them. Isn't that so? Look at all the goals in the world. What are they about, really? Now we're coming to the key question. What is meditation? Is it just careful looking into what the mind offers? And in that looking, you see, it's all entirely drawn from knowledge. You're constantly referring back to what you know. You see the whole world as knowledge. All sensations are labeled as knowledge. Take the hand, for example. It's just something heavy and warm. Attention flows, and everything is already named. Phenomena come and go right here. With just a slight shift in attention, they vanish, appear, vanish again. So what remains unchanged, constantly present through all this vanishing? Is it space? The background? But look, even that's not there in deep sleep. So you're not even the background of awareness. Because for that space of awareness to exist, you need someone, a living adept with 5 senses, who forms that feeling of space, in which this world seems to appear. No you, no space. So even that is not eternal, and so it's not of any real value. And all your insights, your sitting through deep, vast meditative voids, all your experiences, will die with the physical body. Someone says, I had samadhi. Everyone had something at some point. But what is eternity? It is what you were before birth. A total, unknowable peace, where there is no one even to say nothing, no one to say peace. And you are that, right now. It is what is aware. Just like a film camera exists without needing a film, what is aware exists even without being aware of the world. As what? As nothing. It's not an object. All objects are temporary. This is what they call the noumenon behind all phenomena. The mind struggles with this dash, because the mind deals only with what's manifest. The mind works with the finite, with anything it can point at, label, define, and qualify. To the mind, emptiness or infinity are just abstractions. It needs something to identify, to stick a label onto. So how can you understand the absolute? You can't. It's totally pointless. Whatever the mind draws up is just a mental projection, a lie. From nothing, the world appeared. Through constant division. Division occurs, and then existence. Perception, then existence again, and so on.
Student, so how do I realize the self?
All right, let's go back. Which self do you want to realize? You think you're sitting here, but this is only a manifestation of that eternity. Everything around you is a shadow. A person wants to realize the self. But if he looks from the standpoint of being a person, he'll find nothing but flesh and mind. That's it. If he looks as a person, it's useless. Just stop the search. But then, who's aware of these thoughts? Who feels the body? If you follow that beam of attention back to its source, the mind will draw a witness. Then maybe a witness of the witness. But that, too, is a dead end. So what is this witness? Describe its qualities. You can't. There are none. You are before the world, you exist before the perception of the world, and you remain after. Don't confuse yourself with phenomena. If you identify with anything that's manifest, your search will never end. It's a dead loop. The person does practices. He goes on retreats, he meditates, and ends up with a whole backpack full of spiritual nonsense. Right now, you have never been in the world. You are that which is aware, and which exists even without being aware of the world. It is what you were before birth, and what you will be after death. An absolute, unknowable peace, complete forgetting. And this is what you are right now. Don't confuse the perceiver with the perceived. When the wave realizes it is the ocean, the wave vanishes, and only the ocean remains. Shiva is Shakti. Shiva, the Absolute, is the source of all universes. That is you. And Shakti is the dance of manifestation. These are just phenomena. All minds and galaxies, drawn by the mind, have names and labels. They are only shadows, appearing and disappearing. It is within the space of this divine dance that time arises as an idea of change. Time is just an invented scale to track transformation. If there is no change, is there time? If there is no perception, are there forms? Consciousness in total stillness, with no object to be aware of, this is the Absolute. Form exists only when there is division. Otherwise, who would register it? Time is a concept. Do you really believe two little arrows and a spring are measuring something real? Time exists only when there is change. It's a story we tell, an invented scale. What did George Gurdjieff speak of? A thing cannot know itself because it is itself. Do you see? That's why I say the body cannot become aware of itself. A thing cannot create a vantage point outside itself to observe itself from the side. So awareness simply happens. And within this awareness, the world appears as divisions, as fragments. They come and go. But that which perceives never changes. Because it is not an object. Mystics said, God is one, indivisible, and unchanging. Not divisible, not changing. The idea of division created form. The idea of change created time. And these two ideas gave birth to this world, ever in motion. You feel like you're sitting still. But on a cellular level, you are busy. A vast process is unfolding. Cells die, dissolve, new ones emerge. Who is doing this? What doer could be in charge? What power turns an embryo into a human child? What power shapes a leaf from a bud, a blossom from silence? What force leaves the body and causes it to return to the five elements? If you like, call it the periodic table. Something invisible departs. And then comes decay, oxidation. This applies to all things. Even mountains oxidize, crumbling into dust. So, don't cling to anything impermanent. Absolutely nothing. Your home is not here. Your home is in liberation, freedom from the world.
Student. Yes, When you say don't cling, this is also a process. What is happening is also a process. Everything is a process. So this don't cling is also part of the overall process.
Look, if there is identification, there is also constant clinging. If you are in the position of awareness of all these processes, just awareness, a mirror reflects anything, but it doesn't cling to anything. Do you understand? Once again, clinging happens only because there is the idea that there is some you, the author, the doer. This you likes being here. This is your home. Everything is so lively here. You are in the movie, you are acting, and this is where the clinging comes from. If it is realized that everything is simply happening, then what can you cling to? Everything is in its place. Look, the body ages, the body eats, leaves fall in autumn, snow falls, the sun shines, but there is no you in this, nothing to cling to.
Student, activities and personal matters. Is there clinging in them, in those personal stories? But this is also a process, and it is being realized.
And if it is realized, it should lead to disidentification with the world.
Student, and if disidentification with the world hasn't happened, then it's endless clinging, which is being realized. But it is being realized, right?
So, where is liberation then? I realize my clinging, but I still continue doing it. If I don't continue, it means I'm already witnessing. Well, what other position is there?
Student, there is a process. All of this happens and is realized. If you're lucky, disidentification will happen. Is that right?
Teacher, no.
Student, how?
Teacher, no one will get lucky. There is just the belief that you live in a world and that it is divided into yours and not yours. That you act in it, and this makes a person a person. Here, there is an I. This phantom character is running wild. It's a dream. This is Maya. But if it's realized that there is no character, and the phenomenal world just happens, what clinging could there be? You watch a movie, but you realize it's a movie. For example, how can you start acting in it? But even here, people can deeply worry about the character in the film. A person is an image. They can never truly achieve anything. It's going nowhere. As long as you are a person, the doer, acting in this world, do a million, a billion practices, it's going nowhere. Come to a retreat, leave the retreat, come back, leave. It's going nowhere. Nowhere. A person cannot reach anything. Only to the grave. Because the body, of course. Well, what is a person? This is, as I mean to say, the very first shell. The concept, I am the body, mind. All of this arises in perception. It's all an interpretation of the brain and the nervous system. That's why interpretations can differ so much. For example, a colorblind person, whose reality is more real. Or a dog, which sees the world in black and white. Do you realize this is just an interpretation? The whole world is a dance on the iris of the eye. Just once, understand that this looking is inseparably connected to these hallucinations that occur in the act of looking. They are not separate. Perception is expressed in phenomena. All of this. There's no gap here. I look at a tree. It's at such and such a distance. Even this interpretation, you're looking at a postcard, you see? There's a tree. Further away is the sea, a boat. And you mentally imagine the distance. But wait. You're looking at a flat picture and imagining the volume. And somehow, everything is separated. Look, the past, the future, and how does it all fit together? The idea of I is like a string on which everything is strung. This happened to me, I read, I heard, I saw, and it all somehow stretches out in time. Memory creates the arrow of time. Without memory, there would be eternity here and now. And every day, fresh news. And what was said, it's like memory. It's carried very harshly into that dark corner. No one looks there.
Student, no one will ever come to your satsangs in the hundreds because you don't want to please people. You're for precision.
Teacher, absolutely. It's just not worth burying yourself with this topic, throwing you beautiful pointers. Be boundless like the sky. If you have problems, love. How can I love? They're all such bastards. Love. Practice. Do you understand? This is going nowhere. Let's take a good look at this topic. It's just simple. Finally, what does the mind realize? A thought cannot realize itself. A sensation cannot realize itself. This is what Gurdjieff spoke about. No phenomenon can realize itself. Sound cannot realize itself. For that, someone is needed. No, it's debatable. So someone shot in the forest. No one heard. Who fixed that? Was there a shot or not? Well, understand, for any cry, for anything, someone is needed. Sensations, too. How are sensations realized? Who realizes them? Here are the sensations. There's that which realizes. Thoughts. A thought cannot realize itself. No phenomenon is self-realizing. Emptiness consciousness expresses itself as space, in which the difference between phenomena occurs, which changes, appearing as the arrow of time. And it expresses itself as the ocean. Osho said, the ocean of consciousness. The ocean expresses itself as the swells of waves, maybe as a storm, where one wave crashes into another and destroys itself from the perspective of the wave, or a perfect calm, a mirror-like surface. But what changes? The ocean continues to be the ocean. From the perspective of the ocean, nothing happens. So, are you the sensation of Shakti, or are you that which realizes? Shiva. And here, there's no gap between Shiva and Shakti. Between the movie and the screen, there's no gap. The movie happens right on the screen. Now, look at how real you see the movie, how habitual it is. In reality, it's just many, many, many colored dots. Many colored dots. It's read by the mind, the brain. Yes, like trees, cars, the plot, adventures. It's a million dots in total. It's interpretation. But there is knowledge. Everything is defined. Everything is recorded. Everything is named.
Student, indeed, the mind cannot understand that I am in all bodies and outside.
Reason, that is the world. Reason is the distinguishing mind, intellect. Eternal distinction, this is a chair. This is the earth. Distinction. Do you understand? The distinguishing mind, intellect, reason? Yes. This is the tripod, the platform, the curtain. Look at how many contexts there are. Remove the knowledge from all of this. What will remain? And from what position are you looking right now? From the position of, I am a person, I look with my eyes? Is the movie separated from the screen? It happens precisely in this space. But the screen exists even without the movie. In the turned-off state, if the screen fell in love with the character in the movie, that would be a problem. The screen would need liberation from the idea of identification. This is what everyone is hooked on, thinking they are characters in the movie. That's the main problem. So, all the practices you did yesterday, what are they directed toward? Today, people understand practices as anything. There are some visualizations, but again, you're focusing on something manifested, on a phenomenon. This again leads nowhere. This is all done in the world. It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't lead anywhere. If you're a master of concentration, yes, you're very persistent. You're probably very disciplined, and you'll achieve a lot in this world. As it may seem to you, well, simply, the eye looks but doesn't see. There's nothing alive in this structure except for that primal feeling from which the world arose. I am. I am. From that life-giving force which the eye sees. It's like a device, just like how a movie camera works. You don't know how it works. So is the eye. A photon of light reflects off an object. It's converted into an electrical signal, and it's decoded as an image. So where is the world, inside or outside? Is it decoded as an image inside the head? Or is it something external? Is there an inside and an outside? And you keep believing in your separation. But no, there's no inside and outside. Where is the movie? In the head or not? Look right now. Remember this position well. Close your eyes and imagine. Closed. Reproduced. Opened. Checked. Closed. Reproduced. So where is the world? Inside or outside? Don't you understand that it's the same thing? That there's no inside and outside. There's no inside and outside. Now, stop. Who is realizing all of this? All these flickering movements? So, you are that which exists not as a phenomenon, but exists even without all these phenomenal motions. This is even logical. Without the world, without the knowledge of yourself, everything you find, it will all be temporary, and you will never be satisfied. The mind can only find something phenomenal, and even the grip on the feeling of I am exists only in some living structure. For this, you need, in the end, the body. Some structure in which this principle has manifested. When the body dies, the feeling, I am, it's gone, and you won't grab onto it. Although the feeling is there, very blissful, Ananda-like. There's no separation. It permeates the entire world. There's no conflict, no opposition, no opposition. Just like all these deep, empty aspects, nothing is happening. But then, stop. Stop. Well, for this, isn't there some Sergei who is experiencing this experience? So, that too is temporary. Why collect the temporary? Are you interested in a one-day pair of shoes or a house that disappears in a week? Why does a person chase after these things? They keep trying to fill their pockets with more and more of these temporary artifacts. Yesterday, someone asked me about Nirvikalpa Samadhi. It's a final state, empty, you could say, where the feeling of I am disappears. So, you exist even before the beginning of life, before the source of all manifestations. So, will we collect temporary values or seek eternity? What is there to seek? It has only one quality. It is that which realizes and exists without the realization of the world. In it, worlds are born and disappear. Someone might ask, so, is eternity space or a point? And again, this is a trick of the mind because it appeals to criteria like size or distance. But no, there's neither space nor point. Space and point relate to the manifested. Do you understand? Space, point. These are things the mind wants to grasp. What is eternity? But there's no space or point there. No being, no non-being. Realization with this eternity, that is called enlightenment. It's called known peace. Realization of your unchanging nature. But what you were before birth, that's unknown peace. There is no one to know it. And in this, there is peace, realizing your nature, untouched by the world. And from this position, everything is seen. Because this is not the peace of human character. All these temporary techniques are like a pill for life. This is human peace. It's temporary. Meditate. Experience some change in the brain's cortex. Everything slows down. For the first time in life, you fall asleep without thoughts. Or, for example, I've been walking after the practice for an hour. The mind is stopped. But it's all temporary. Why be a fanatic of something? Why all these endless practices, being a fan of energy work? They spend their entire lives clearing their energy channels, chakras. There's always something to do. They are always in the game. Skipping one day, that's a sin. And this, again, is just an attachment to something temporary. It feels like they want to live forever, but no one has ever left alive. That's the law of this theater. Do veganism, raw food, practice qigong or yoga, but at some point, you'll loudly cry your last quack. But where is the good news in all this? Again, you were never in this. Don't confuse yourself with these reflections, with these bubbles on the water. Why confuse yourself with bubbles on the surface when there is the ocean of consciousness, which remains in perfect peace and doesn't even realize itself? It's so simple. So there is no you or me. Everything is one foundation. For example, two fingers recognize themselves and say, I am. But it doesn't seem like it, does it? One says to the other, you are not me. One has the experience of wearing a ring and the other doesn't. But when you get to the essence, there is the hand, you see, the hand expressed in the movement of the fingers. All of this leads to a common denominator. There is neither me nor you. Even the statement, I am you, you are me. Who is saying this? It's the mind saying it. But in truth, nothing is needed. All these songs, these statements, I, you, they are manifestations. It's all one. And this singular foundation permeates everything. People, bodies, plants. Even saying we are one is already questionable. It's like if the waves gathered in the ocean and said, we are one. It's better to say there is simply one, the ocean. There are no we's. Everything is just a manifestation. And here arises the division. I, we. But bring it all back to one. Reduce I and you to one. I gave you the example. The fingers realized themselves and believed in their separateness. They lack the intelligence to understand that this is all one hand, that there is no division. Everything is a continuation of the same force, the same consciousness. The wave realized itself and believed in its separateness. And now it fears, for soon it will disappear, dissolve into the ocean. This is death. But there is no life or death. There is the ocean. It is beyond life and death. It gives birth to waves and dissolves them. Consciousness creates forms and dissolves them. You see it all. Cats are born, cats die. People are born, people die. But what force acts through all bodies, minds, organisms? The manifestation of the same force. There are no two beginnings here. This is not some separate energy that flows in. No, this is it. This force. Can we say that the ocean flows into the wave? No. It is the ocean itself. Do you understand? There are no two here. Energy does not flow into the body. The wave is not filled with the ocean. It is the manifestation of the ocean. This is what manifests its manifestation. The whole world is a manifestation. Emptiness manifests as form. This is what mystics of all times knew. This is what Buddha knew. And now quantum physicists have arrived at this. The eternal neti-neti, neither this nor that. On the deepest level, atoms, electrons, complete uncertainty. It's unclear whether it's a particle or a wave, the eternal flicker. So, are we sitting here or not? The logical mind will say we are sitting, but in reality, atoms, electrons are constantly flickering. Consciousness is discrete. There is no flickering. There is nothing static here. Everything is captured by the mind as if in photographs, fixed. Think of the analogy with the television, just the flickering of colored dots on the screen. And in the end, a movie emerges, with logic, a plot, characters. Characters live, act, drive on the roads. But in reality, these are just millions of multicolored dots, a phenomenal pattern. This is direct knowledge. This is a fact. There are no two. Awareness, that's it. Awareness of this whole play. Look, here the wind stirs. It comes and goes. The wind stopped. The leaves rustled, then quieted down again. A person came, left. Just a moment ago, the leaves were rustling. The wind died down. A bird appeared. A new sound phenomenon. We know that this is a bird. From where? This is knowledge. Everything changes. During the day, one thing, then a swim, the seascape, other sounds. But what is unchanging? What is unchanging is you. Everything else changes. And you say, do you feel this? And you? Sometimes you don't feel it? Do you realize that everything around you changes? Even the body? And the body changes. This is also a phenomenon. It's called aging. Everything changes. But what remains unchanged? You are the unchanging. In the world sits the body, a phenomenon. Other bodies around. It's as if they are compact, as if someone is living inside them. But this is all the manifestation of the same force. Are we sitting or not? Quantum uncertainty. Now, analogies are being made. Buddhism and quantum physics. But the Buddhists, mystics of all times, knew the world is unreal. They always said, Maya is the dance of the five elements. And now scientists are saying the same thing. 99.9999% of form is made of emptiness. Do you understand? They missed. The quantum physicists, a zero in the period, 1%. To simply understand that emptiness is form itself, and to happily drink wine. They haven't fully explored it, but someone will certainly win a Nobel Prize. The one who eliminates this percentage. I just want to dismantle the concept of human. Again, what is a human? What is a human? It's the very first social role. It's the oldest religion. I am a human. Who is this about? Well, am I the body? Who claims the body is theirs? A bush doesn't need any knowledge. I am a bush. Who lives in the body? I am the body. What makes the body yours? And in general, from what position do you say, my body? Okay, it's yours, but who are you that the body is yours? The sensation exists only in this body because presence expressed itself precisely through the feeling of this body.
Student, sometimes I feel like every body here, it's all one. It manifested like this, through different forms, through different bodies, through the same principle. It even feels like I can freely look into your eyes and feel that it's me.
Look at your fingers. This finger doesn't feel this one. Yes, but there's no problem in this. You see? There's no problem in this. Awareness is aware of both this finger and this one. And there's no problem in this. The main thing here is, who are you? Why don't I feel myself as another body? Who wants to jump from body to body? It requires someone separate who does. hop, 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 having fun. In this phenomenal picture, the idea of I arises, and this is only inherent in humans, because nothing alive needs to know itself as something. This is the absolute God, who doesn't know any God. The tree doesn't need to know that it's a tree. The linden tree doesn't need to know that it's a linden. The cat doesn't need to know that it's a cat. But humans have the idea of separation. And then, when all of this bursts, they say, liberation. The mind is very happy. And they start leading satsangs, the smartest ones. Yes, it's a very great achievement, which animals simply don't need. They sleep in God.
Student, you should give names to everyone today. Some interesting spiritual ones. Now it's fashionable, some Indian ones.
Who even needs to be someone? Why? Why be someone? Look at the absurdity of being someone. Like, I'm brave, or I'm cowardly, I'm greedy, or I'm generous. Why these definitions at all? Who cares? Why get caught up in it if in one situation it's like this, and in another, it's like that? And why be someone? And what is this idea of I that everyone is so obsessed with? This golden letter, I, this self-definition. It's a curse in its purest form. Knowledge of oneself, self-definition. This is I, not you, not he, but I, all your life. And then croak, laughter. Look, I'll tell you some joyful news. Whether you believe that you are mortal flesh, or you, as it's called, are enlightened and have gone through disidentification, you still are this eternity. And death makes it all equal, you know. We are all guests in this world, but today you're going home, right? In the sense that your home is ignorance, oblivion. This head that understands will die, just like the one that doesn't understand. There's simply no difference. Absolutely. You are this eternity. How will you live? Will you die as a mortal piece of meat, in panic, in agony, or will it be liberation from this hustle, from this temporariness? Are you going home, into timelessness, or into this ignorance? All the old masters who were on the edge, already looking there, and telling us here, with these mortal mouths about all these things, they awaited death like a bride. It's liberation from the world. Listen to Nisargadatta. They tell him, you have a cancer. The diagnosis is set. So what? He says, I don't need even one day of this. If I could choose, I would never choose any existence.
Student. By the way, why didn't he commit suicide?
I'll tell you. Because he understood that there are no concepts there. He awaited death like a bride. I'll tell you for sure that in the tradition of the Jains, who descended from Mahavira, there was such a Mahavira. He lived, walked eternally naked, because he said, you come into this world naked, and you leave naked. Like, what's there to be shy about? Ramana only wore a loincloth. Buddha and Mahavira lived at the same time but never met, so Mahavira is also recognized as a Buddha of very high status. In their tradition, if a disciple decided to leave life, it was not condemned. The same Siddharameshwar Maharaj, Nisargadatta's guru, learned that he had diabetes. Well, great news. He sat in Mahasamadhi, and that was it. Goodbye, everyone. He wasn't really known except by his disciples. He became famous thanks to Nisargadatta when he published the book, I Am That. Jain monks would leave the monastery grounds, cover themselves with firewood, and perform self-immolation. Very calmly. Well, The same Ramana, the same Nisargadatta said, "Let the phenomena exhaust themselves." I stand for the natural course of things. Let the phenomena exhaust themselves. Death happens in any case because there is no escape. How do they exhaust themselves? Through fire or what we call old age? So, from the perspective of a person, we are sitting here. From the perspective of atoms, electrons, here is eternity. Neti, neti. Even as a person on the cellular level, you are very busy. So many things happens. Entire universes are destroyed. Protein splitting, red blood cells, white blood cells. They die. They are born. These are entire universes. Buddha very simply brought the micro and macro to a common denominator. He says, in every pore of the body, there is a universe. It's just a perspective. From the small to the big, or from the big to the small. The difference is only in the direction. Everything infinitely divides in reduction by the mind. And when they say, you are the universe, it's not just the universe, it's the infinite division, the infinite expansion of the universe, galaxies, and solar systems. But this is just a perspective, just a view of the pattern. This is infinitely woven by the mind. But who cares if you are that which perceives these infinite divisions, and you end with this theme. There is infinitely something great. You are infinitely something great, in which worlds arise and disappear.
Student, I liked what you said about the gap. I started to understand something. There is no gap, you say. This part I liked.
Close your eyes, look. Right in this moment, sounds happen. Voices, wind, body sensations, thoughts arise or don't arise, emotional background. And there is the awareness of this. And between the awareness and the phenomena happening, there is no gap. It's like there is no gap between the mirror and the reflection in the mirror. Right in this perception, all of it happens. In this, there is no gap. Everything simply happens. There is no gap between the seer and the seen. You are all of this. You are this vision. But you are not one of the phenomena. Separately, you are not sound. You are not the sensation of the body. You are not this perceived phenomenon. You are not a thought. You are not taste. You are not smell. You are that which perceives. And it is in this perception that all of this happens. There is no gap. You are what perceives all these movies about yourself. Do you understand? Well, you became so in love with this film that you thought of yourself as the character. You fell in love with Bruce Willis so much that you thought you were acting on screen. But in reality, you are that which watches, and you are not the object. That's why you cannot be separate. Objects are separated by context. This is separated from that, although at the subatomic level, everything is one, all electrons. Shiva is Shakti, but he is not any element of the dance, not any phenomenon, not any manifestation. He is Shiva. He is the source of phenomena. All of this happens in him. There is no second in him. In you, in eternity, worlds arise and disappear. These phenomena, this wind sound, this conversation, all of it is in you, and there is no second. And all of this is part of a dream, a background performance. All of this is your manifestation. All these bodies, everything arises in your perception. And there is no one else here but you. Who should worry about phenomena disappearing, appearing? Does the screen worry about the absence of the film? The body is also a temporary phenomenon. It has its term, and at some point, it will very freely leave, like everything else, like this summer will end, like the leaves will fall from the trees. Who needs the stretching of time? Only the phenomenon, something manifested. But you are not the phenomenon. Let go of this idea, who needs time? Something temporary. Time is needed by something temporary, but you are not temporary. All of this appears temporarily in perception. But if you, God forbid, decide again that you are an organism, a body, a mind, you will never get anywhere. I say that a human is the belief in the body. The body as such does not exist. This is knowledge. You remember the body throughout the day when something hurts. You are the one who perceives this film. These are all decorations of the film. There is nothing alive here. This is an interpretation, and life itself is a concept. Who lives? There is an act of perception. That's all. Who lives? Who was born? Who recorded their birth? Who stood there, recording their birth? On which side of the obstetrician? This is all knowledge. You were born then. You are a boy. You are a girl. Are there feminine or masculine sensations? What makes a man and a woman, if not knowledge? This knowledge has become so ingrained. The constant division. Someone might say they function differently, male and female bodies. I would say they don't function the same. They don't function the same. You want to gather together what doesn't exist. Do you understand? Here are the eternal neti-neti. There is a particle, no atom. Electrons, flickering. The body is just knowledge. Here is the body. The body approached the mirror, saw that everything is in place. Well, everything is fine. Everything is in place. So, you still see yourself as something, not the body. You don't see the body, you see Irene. That's the problem. You see Irene, but what Irene is, no fluorography can find. It's all made up. You're not involved. When the body casts a shadow, the body wasn't chosen. Just as water flows, water isn't to blame. If you spill it, it will flow somewhere. That's its nature. Here is the source from which this entire universe manifests. And this universe is you. You were never in this movie. Again, this must be final. As soon as you think you are in the picture, that's it. You are a mortal character. Hello. Do practices to get out of the movie. What practices does Bruce Willis need to do to get out of the movie? What if everything is part of the movie? Meditate, not eat meat? That's the foolishness. And what is true practice? It's to watch and see that all of this happens in the mind. At the level of the mind, the entire world is a house of cards made from the mind. And when this is understood, designated as a dream, this is liberation. Well, you, the one who watches, are Brahman, who dreams the world. The world is unreal. Only Brahman is real. There is no gap in this. The world is unreal, only Brahman is real, who dreams this world. And the next line, Brahman is the world. No gap. You will not find any Brahman. It is not an object. Dreams appear and disappear. For whom? For you. And you are no more separated from them, just as you, who are Olya, are no more separated from your nighttime dreams, right? Well, who are they dreamed for? For you. Where does it all unfold? In what space? But since you, as the universal eternal dreamer, cannot be found, you can't enter the picture. You can't enter the dream, the picture, you can't enter the movie. You always stay, but even if you dream yourself to be something, it will always be a dream, a projection. If someone took a photo of you, is it you in the photo or your reflection? It's not you, it's the reflection. And what do you see in the mirror? Yourself or your reflection? It's the reflection. It's not you. You are the one who looks at the reflection. The reflection turned out well in the picture. And this on the chair is not you either. You are the dreamer, the universal, unchanging dreamer. A child speaks about themselves in the third person. They don't identify with the body. They consider themselves as that which observes the body. Do you understand? This is the position you need to come to. The child speaks about themselves in the third person. Why? Because they are what observes this body. But then, from 3 to 5 years old, they say, "My sweater, my toy, I'm going to..." This is where the personality is formed, and that's it. No one looks into the dark corner. And now, how old is this habit? Try to break it in one satsang. Who can never be found in direct experience. Everything is on rent, and nothing belongs to you. Everything simply manifests, like fireworks in the sky. They appear and fade. What did you do 8 years ago? But scientists say that all the cells of the body change in 8 years. Can we say that this body went to school? Can we say that this body existed 8 years ago if all the cells, even the bone cells, have changed? Do you understand that this is just an image, just appropriation, the idea of I that claims ownership? How long can you confuse yourself with this temporary suit? This is the absurdity. You bought a branded item from a branded store and fell so much in love with it that you started confusing yourself with the sweater. This is exactly what happens. You protected it, cleaned it, and suddenly decided that you are this temporary outfit. These feelings come and go. There is no one to claim any feeling. No one. These are reactions of the brain, the nervous system, spontaneous. Moreover, you don't choose when to rejoice or be upset. Now ask yourself, do I exist or not? Ask like this sincerely. Point your finger at yourself and say, I exist. Nothing requires confirmation. This is the feeling of life itself. That is, if you woke up in the morning, you don't need to go around and say, pinch me, am I awake or not? It's a fact. Well, you exist, this feeling. Now imagine, this feeling is the same for everyone. This existence is expressed as everything. This presence. This is Brahman. This is the absolute manifestation of the same life-giving principle. And life protects life. Even the crow, which doesn't know itself, experiences the same I feeling, this feeling of life. And this life protects life. That is, when a snake approaches, it strikes, defends itself. Any animal defends itself. The instinct of self-preservation. Personality is just an idea. The path of self-inquiry is the path of intellect. The path of self-inquiry is intellect. It is the shortest path, the most effective. Whatever you don't find yourself in, it all pertains to the manifested world, and it's always wrong. What I suggest is that you simply spend 15 minutes a day observing. Every day, you should have the experience of not finding yourself, and in that non-finding, the self-identification burns away. And that can be the end of the search, erasing the I program. These should be very dry logs, so that you see there is no one there. And that which made a person falls apart. This is enlightenment. The ego loop, the chain of mirrored neurons, must be destroyed. Yes, but what destroys it? The absence of confirmation of the I signal. That is, if you approach a door and look for a handle, but there's no handle. The first time you fall for this, the second time, you approach the door again and already understand that looking for a handle is useless, because you get no feedback from it. Once you didn't find it, second time, third time. And this erases your conditioning. And when you approach the door, you open it in a different way. If every day you have the experience of not finding, it will destroy that neural connection.
Student, I want a miracle to happen right away.
Do you do practices or not? You understand that doing practices is grace. Waiting for a miracle is also the manifestation of that same grace. To become enlightened without expectations, spontaneously, without seeking anything, that is also grace. To die without ever knowing liberation, that is the same grace. And this changes nothing because you are already eternity. How many more satsangs, retreats do you need to understand this simplicity? What new thing do you want to learn about this topic? There's nothing new here.
Student, I don't want anything. It's a way to pass time. It's a lifestyle.
Spiritual ranger. Yes, I understand. Whatever entertains the child, as long as it doesn't cry. They say that when we listen to satsang, grace supposedly passes from the master to the student. Someone even called me the Absolute. Did you hear that today? Look at me. Can't you see the glow around my head? It's all not like that. From the perspective of relativity, no one here differs from anyone else. There is nothing here, no holiness. Understand? And who divides into sacred or not sacred? What makes a monastery sacred and a dump not sacred? If everywhere there's the same periodic table, everywhere the same, then everything can be called sacred. But then, why talk about it? Well, everything is sacred. When one wise man was asked, "Can you express the truth in one sentence?" he turned around and said, "Boundless emptiness and nothing sacred," and left. Life loves itself. That is the only thing it is occupied with. But it's not ego, it's the process itself. It is this love. Life loves to live. That's all. In this there is no you, but you are that which observes life. And one can become so in love with life that it will be very difficult to die. So, you understand, this is infinite. This is infinite, infinite. And again, I won't tell you anything new. Well, again, this is all about the same thing, the same thing. When it's understood, you'll just see that this is a habit. And thinking that I am the body, that's a habit. If you remember every day, consciously, that it's just a habit, that there is no I, and remember the day that it's just the organism, body and mind reacting to situations according to its social programs, skills, the second signaling system, speech. No one controls the vocal cords during a conversation. No I. No one is watching. There is simply watching. You don't need to try to turn attention on yourself or anything. You won't find any self. Everything that can be grasped by attention is always not you. You are not one of the phenomena. You can only find something manifested. And this not knowing of yourself will erase this impulse of I. Think about something without I. Think about some action. Think about some action without I, and you will immediately see this appropriation. It's immediately I am doing. This is the idea of the doer.